Actually, so far this year, which I think says something for the way these guys are focused in. We did some Texas A&M work. We did some work just UCLA versus UCLA fundamental stuff. But once again, their focus and their energy and their attention to detail was very, very good. So I sound like a broken record, I know, but I think we're on the right track. And just appreciate the way they're working. I really do. I appreciate their attitude. I appreciate the way they're competing against each other and supporting each other. So it's fun to be a part of right now.
The penalties have been an issue and a focus for you. How would you assess how you guys have progressed there? I know it may be hard to tell out here, but
I think it is hard to tell until you get in the game. We've had the officials in, I think, 4 times now, and I've asked them to call it extremely tight. I said, let's go overboard. Anything that's even close, let's be very ticky-tack. And we haven't had a lot of flags when the officials have been here. And considering, that every play is 11 UCLA versus 11 UCLA, so you got double the number of opportunities for a penalty on a play in practice, it's been really good. So, but I think the proof will come throughout the season. And there are some penalties that are going to happen in the game of football, and then there's ones that you need to make sure that you hone in on and avoid. The red zone penalties have been an Achilles heel for us. We have to make sure that we're doing a better job there. Some of the aggressive penalties, sometimes they happen. That doesn't mean you say it's okay. But, you just have to kind of classify what type of penalty it is and why it happened. Always address it and understand that sometimes they're going to happen, but you don't accept it.
I know players have talked about Trevor in recent weeks. Does he help in terms of that with mental aspect, kind of limiting penalties and all that?
He hasn't specifically spoken about, penalties, but he's spoken about mindset, and concentration. And creating the right mindset, thinking the right way, and so I think all of those things go into it. It's focus and it's attention to detail, and it's when you're tired and you're worn out, you've got a great player across from you in a very challenging situation. It's being able to maintain that focus to come off at the right time or not false start, or it's technique. It's moving your feet and getting your body in position so you don't have to reach out and grab. It's things like that. But I would say in an indirect way, it wouldn't surprise me at all if Trevor's had a positive effect on us in that way.
has there been any separation among the top 3 running backs, or like they're all still?
No, but there never will be. You can ask me that all year, and I'm going to tell you the same answer all year. They're all 3 starters. There is no separation. They all 3 have things that they do very, very well as individuals, and we're going to use them all. And we're going to use Brandon Stevens, and we're going to use Jalen Starks as well. So don't be surprised when you see 5 different running backs being used during this season. And, I can't tell you that that one's going to play more than the other, or that you'll be able to recognize or rhyme or reason for each guy playing. But we'll cater what they do to their specialty, and I'm excited about all 3 of them. It's fun to have. It's fun to not worry about who's in there, whether it's Soso or Bolu or Nate or even Jalen and Brandon now. You just kind of feel confident about the group. It's a good feeling.
Are we all equal in blocking?
No. I mean, guys like Jalen, Brandon, he hasn't done a lot of it. High school guys, when they're great running backs in high school, the coach typically doesn't have them block, and they give them the ball. So, they have to catch up a little bit, but I've seen a willingness to do it, and I think that's important. I think Soso is an excellent blocker. I think Nate's an excellent blocker. I think Bolu's a good blocker who has the ability to be really, really good. Just has to learn to stay a little bit more balanced, keep his eyes up. And then, like I said, the 2 young guys would worry me just a little bit because they haven't done it enough in games.
Like Nate, seems like he could be a go-to receiver.
Yes,
Yeah.
We have a good group of tight ends. I think that Caleb Wilson's done a nice job. Jordan Wilson's done a nice job. And then Nate, and then we'll get Austin back out here on Monday. So that's 4 capable receivers right there. But you're right, Nate has just great hands. I'm not overstating that by saying he has some of the best hands catching the football of anyone I've been around. Chris Carter was always a guy that just had great hands. Jerry Rice obviously had great hands, natural catchers, and Nate's the same type of guy, just big, giant hands, and he catches it softly. So, and he's somewhat of a matchup problem, because he can run and move his body well in space. So, he's a tough for a DB to cover because of size, and he's tough for a linebacker to cover because of athleticism. So, we'll try to utilize him.
You said you get Austin Roberts back. Where is he been?
He hasn't practiced for a few days. He took a hit to the head, and as always, we are going to monitor those extremely closely and not let them back out here till they are cleared and then some. So he should be back out here Monday though.
Any more updates on those other guys?
Not really. Tack was out here today, is doing some things, which was good to see. Kenny Lacey was out here doing some things. Dion had a little bit of a setback yesterday, to be quite frank with you. He came out here, he did some work, looked at him at one play, said, "You okay?" And he said, "Yes." Then a second later he goes, "Not really." So we got him out of there quickly. We're just not going to play with those things. It's just not worth it. But I think, anything that we do have aside from, Cam and Dion, and I'll say Austin because you're dealing with a head injury, there are things that are relatively minor that they can play through, that we can manage, and we will manage.
Like the offense got to wear game uniforms today. Was there any significance to that?
Yeah, there is. Tomorrow the defense will wear them. So it's a new cut for us. We went away from the Tech Fit jerseys. They're sharp looking. It's a different fabric. The pants are different. The fabric on the stripes on the pants different. The fabric on the shoulder stripes, which is a complete shoulder stripe, I'm finally able to say. We had game helmets on and game shoes for a lot of them. Just want them to wear the uniform. We need to be able to make any alterations that need to be made, before it gets too late. So today the offense wore them. Tomorrow the defense will wear them, and then that gives us the weekend to get them just right. So when we get into Texas, we're ready to go.
What problems does A&M present?
Well, like on the field, off the field, in the environment, you name it, lots. Lots. Well, I think a couple things. I think, as everyone knows, it's an incredibly difficult environment to go into and play. I mean, I think they've had as many as 110,000 people in that stadium. I think that's a record. They'll have well over 100. They organize their cheer squad, or their yell squads. They get all their student section going. I mean, it's crazy. They try to make you feel seasick the way they do it. They actually practice the night before. They bring I think like 20,000 students in, and they practice the cheers, which is really awesome. I mean, what an environment. It'll be hot, it'll be humid. Those are the things though that we can't control. The things that are challenging, or the things that are going to happen between the lines, which is they've got an outstanding team. They're well coached. They're outstanding players. We've got some tremendous skill players on offense. They've got a new quarterback who is experienced and knows how to play the game. They've got two defensive ends that are both great ones. One of them could be the first pick in the draft next year. So they're just a good team, and it's going to be a challenging environment, but it's just an amazing opportunity for us. It really is, and I think our guys are excited about it. The one thing about these kids is these young men, is they love to compete. I know there's people out there would like to see us playing, Little Sisters of the Poor or somebody like that, but these guys want to go against the best in the toughest environments, and I appreciate that about them.
Have you ever experienced a game there in person?
No, but I've played at LSU. I played in some pretty big games. It's a pretty big stadium. So the important thing is for all of us, for myself, for our players, is that you have the capability to block out everything that's happening around you and just focus on what's happening on the field. We've been good at that. We've been a good road team. We talk about it a lot. We play mute. We try to create problems, and distractions during practice so that we're ready to go on game day. And I think our guys will handle it the right way. I really do.
Your three freshman specialists, they're a little bit unknown now just because they're all new, but what positives come from having them all come in together and they can go grow together?
That they can all grow together. I think there's a camaraderie amongst them, and I think that they're all really good players, very talented players. It'll be interesting. It'll be fun. I'm excited to see how they react next Saturday. My gut feeling, just in being around them for the time that I have, is that they'll be fine. That it's not too big for them. And you just try to simplify. You say, listen, just you've been snapping the ball since you're a little kid, or punting it since you're a little kid, or kicking it since you're a little kid. Field's the same length, same width, posts are the same distance apart. Just kick it through. Just punt it, just snap it. So try not to make it too big for them. Okay.